What is up guys, this is D2W back with another video on the Redmi Note 10 Pro, and today in this video I'm gonna be showing you the latest CherishOS on this device. This is the CherishOS version 2.6 and this is the official build, by the way, based on Android 11, and this build is of 27 June 2021 as you are noticing. And here we have two separate builds, one includes GApps and one does not. Yes, I have flashed the GApps included version as usual, and you can get all the links from the description box below, do not worry. But yes, in the changelogs you will find a disappointment, that is rebased device trees based on iOS, now it's on OSS. I will tell you why I am saying that as a disappointment for the devices like the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Yes, for the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max it does not affect them because Redmi Note 10 Pro Max's camera will be totally fine, but here the camera has a little bit of issues for the Redmi Note 10 Pro or the devices with 64 megapixel camera sensors. So again, I'll talk about that later, but first let me show you some other things, like there is the drop DRAC. So there is no Mi Audio DRAC as of right now, and in the notes you will find some specific notes over here. Yes, the GApps variant is about 1.7 GB and yes, it is quite large. That is because again this is based on OSS vendor, I guess. But first let me show you the home screen. This is how it looks like, and if you're noticing that big black border, they are not there by default, but I have been using the device like this. By the way, this is how the quick setting panel and stuff looks like, and I'm on the dark theme right now. And here if I go into the Cherish settings and in the status bar settings, from here if you scroll down we have the display cutout, and from here you can actually change it to normal if you want everything to be normal. So after a reboot of the system UI, I am back in this kind of setup over here. But right now let me tell you why I was using that black border or that like hide option from this display cutout section. Like you have to use this hide option specifically. The immersive option even does not work for me. Like it does work, but it still has that camera glow over there. Like whenever you're in a video call or whenever you're using apps like Snapchat or something, maybe, and those apps does have that kind of front camera glow, like the light emitted from the screen gets into the front camera whenever you're using it for video calls and stuff like that. So that problem, to fix that, we have to use this hide option from this cutout style from the status bar customization settings. That is one problem that I have faced. Other than that, the stock camera over here is pretty good. We get the Google Camera Go edition by default over here. That is just amazing that we get this kind of camera. But if you switch to this second camera, it switches to this like monochrome kind of sensors. That is weird. And if you switch the front camera, as you can see, the front camera is working fine. Yes, portrait mode photos or selfies or portrait mode rear camera pictures, and there is also the face retouching option over here, and even videos and stuff, everything is working with this like Google Camera Go edition, no issues whatsoever. There is also the translate kind of feature. So yeah, this camera as the stock camera is amazing. But if you ask me where does that OSS vendor based camera kind of stuff appear, or where does those problems appear, well, let me tell you. Here I have flashed Magisk because I have flashed the ANX camera version 185R. If you have no idea how to flash the ANX camera or how to flash this specific ROM, you will find all the guides in the description or in the cards. You can check them out. So let me show you. The ANX camera is working almost perfectly fine, and if you go into the more settings, I do get the 64 megapixel camera settings over here, and even the rear camera portrait mode pictures and stuff, everything is working fine. But the problem happens when you switch to the portrait mode and switch to the front camera. Let me show you. As you can see in the viewfinder, it shows everything is perfectly fine. But let me actually take a photo. So once I took the photo, let me actually open it. This is how the photo looks like, stretched in like the top and bottom. So this is how weird it is. And if you are taking a normal selfie, let me show you this 3:4 selected over here. So still the aspect ratio I'm in. So still if I take a front camera selfie, and then if you see it, as you can see, this is how weird it looks like. It's definitely not 3:4. So this is the problem that I am facing with that OSS vendor based camera stuff over here. But other than that, there is no issues. Like for the rear camera pictures, there is no issues. All the lenses are working totally fine, no issues whatsoever. In the video settings, yes, you do get the 4K 30 FPS option and stuff like that. Everything is working fine except the front camera or like the selfies over here. Like if you're taking normal selfies or portrait selfies, they will just look weird like this or like this. So that's how it is. That's how the problem appears over here because of that OSS kind of vendor. But yes, if you have the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, which has a 108 megapixel camera, it won't be a problem for you. Now let me just quickly talk about the stock launcher over here. As you can see, if you go into the stock launcher version, this is the Pixel launcher by default present over here. But the good thing is there is the double tap to sleep anywhere in the home screen, and there is also suggestion disabling option and stuff. To the left of the home screen, we do get the Google's Discover page, no issues whatsoever. And the quick setting panel you can get by just swiping down on the home screen, and swiping up gets you to the app drawer, of course. And the whole UI is very smooth, and the widgets in the home screen are working fine. Right now, let me just show you the double tap to sleep anywhere in the home screen. As you can see, it does work fine. And here, if I tap the fingerprint scanner, it just unlocks. Let me show you a couple more times. As you can see, the fingerprint scanner speed is not a problem. It is very fast and snappy over here. No issues whatsoever. I have always on display disabled, that's why it's not appearing, but you can definitely enable the always on display if you want to. The always on display simply drains a little bit more battery in my opinion. That's why I disabled it. But yeah, after disabling the always on display, I am getting a little bit better battery life. So yeah, but here, let me tell you that the whole UI is very smooth. But again, except for that camera kind of problem, I haven't faced any other huge issues over here. Let me actually disable the dark theme for the time being. So let me show you, you can edit and add multiple toggles over here. As you can see, plethora of quick toggles are there, and you can add any quick toggle that you want to. I already added a couple of toggles like the night light, battery saver, and the dark theme is there. Then we have the screen recording option, and with that you can record the device audio and the microphone audio at the same time. No issues with that. The hotspot is there, do not disturb is there, data saver, peak notification, mute toggle or the sound toggle is there. If you tap and hold on it, this is how the volume panel appears. And as you can see, when you expand the volume panel, this is how it looks like. Very sweet kind of animation. Always on display is there. So you can only disable or enable always on display with this toggle. And there's the power menu. And if you tap on it, of course, the power menu appears. So yeah, and there is a sleep screen. If you tap on it, the phone will just go to sleep. That's it. Now in the settings panel, this is how it looks like. The settings looks beautiful in my opinion. And if you scroll down, here it shows the CherishOS 2.6 logo up top, and we have the official build name over here, and the storage, how much you have filled it, and we have the Android version. If you could switch to the Android version, it shows the CherishOS logo up there again, and the CherishOS version shows as 2.6. The code name is summer, and we have the official build type, and the maintainer's name is Nazunamo, and we have the Android version as Android 11 again, as you are noticing. And the security patch is latest of June 5th, 2021. The stock kernel is this Epsilon kernel, and we have the build date as 27 June 2021, and here is the build number. If you go into the system settings, this is how it looks like. If you go into the system updates, yes, I think you can check for updates whenever there is a new update. And we have the gesture settings over here. We have the power menu option. Then we have the system navigation gestures. And if you go into the settings of the system navigation gestures, we have the dead zone. Then if you scroll down, we also have the advanced gestures. So extended swipe action, you can customize it however you want to. And the gesture bar length and the radius you can customize. And I did change them and I did increase them. That's why you are seeing the pill bar over here is quite long and quite thick. The back gesture animation you can disable, and we have the haptic feedback that you can enable or disable as you're liking. Then there is a 2-button and 3-button navigation as well, and quickly open camera is there, no issues with that. And we also have the default keyboard as Gboard because I have flashed the GApps included version. Now one good thing over here is that in the InCall UI, you will find that the VoLTE calling is working totally fine, no issues with that of course. And here, as you can see, there is the record option. So you can record calls with this Google dialer that is present by default. That is just great. We get this recording option by default on the stock dialer. This is amazing. And in this device specific settings, we have the high refresh rate, that's the 120 Hz that is enabled by default of course. And there is the de-dimming, that is cool. And the de-dimming is working, but if you enable the night light, let me show you right now, the night light is turned on, but with de-dimming turned on, with night light, if you increase or decrease the brightness here, it does not disable the night light. That is a cool thing over here that I have been noticing. Even with the de-dimming turned on and turned on night light, there is no problem at all when you are changing or increasing or decreasing the brightness. That is great. That like this feature is actually working perfectly fine. No issues with the de-dimming and night light turned on at the same time. In the display colors, we have the enable display color configuration, and there are a couple of color profiles that you can change. And this is what I like over here, that you can thoroughly customize the display colors. Like the RGB of the screen, you can increase or decrease it however you want to. So yeah, it does change the display colors. Also, you can change the saturation and contrast over here. If you're not liking the saturation enough, you can definitely increase or decrease it however you want to. Even the contrast you can change as you wish. So that is just great that we have this amazing amount of display color customization. Let me go back, and here we have the Cherish settings. There we'll find the huge amount of customizations. Just notice the customization panel. Sit tight, relax, it will take time because this ROM has amazing amount of customizations. First, let's jump into the status bar. Here we have the traffic indicators, the status bar battery indicator. Of course, you can change the battery indicator like next to the icon percentage, and we have the battery icon style. You can change it to icon portrait, circle, dotted circle, filled circle, etc. And we have the quick setting battery percentage too if you want to. And the clock settings are there. We have the auto hide clock option if you want to enable that, AM, PM, date position, and the date format, clock font size, font color, everything you can customize. In the status bar items, we have the headset, Bluetooth, etc. icons like the VPN even, and we have the VoLTE or VO Wi-Fi icon changing option. Then we have the data disabled icon, roaming indicator, battery bar, and the display cutout again is there. Then the ticker animations are there. You can change it to scroll or fade if you're using it. Then the ticker duration, and the status bar lyric option is also there. And we have the logo option for the CherishOS logo or any other logo that you want. In the quick settings, we have the quick setting tile colors. You can change it to Android 12 or something if you want to. I am now using the Android 12's quick setting kind of style. So that is why you are seeing even the turned off toggles has a little bit of accent color. And here we have the edit icon and stuff like that. Then we have the clear all button for notifications, and we have the bottom brightness slider and stuff like that. Then we have the brightness slider at bottom again. And this just means that the brightness slider will always be on the bottom. That's it. And we have the brightness control, so you can actually slide a finger on the status bar just like this to increase or decrease the brightness. Again, amazing feature. I use it on a daily basis. No issues whatsoever. That is working fine. And we have the column and row number customization, and then we have the vibrate on toggle touch and stuff like that. In the themes option, we have the accent color as well as the gradient color changing option. And I have two different accent and gradient colors. That's why you are noticing the brightness slider, if you are looking at it, looks very beautiful with two kind of different gradient colors. Then there is a UI style. I have been using it with the round medium, but you can also use it with the other settings. And we have the quick setting tile changing option. This is the tile styles for the quick settings. You can change it however you want to. Then we have the quick setting header style too. I have been using it with the transparent one. And then we have the brightness slider style that you can change to however you want to. I have been using it with the meme round stroke gradient option, but you can also go with the basic ones like the OXygenOS style and stuff like that. And then we have the panel background style. Also, you can change it to these many options. Then we have colored status bar icons over here. Then we have colored header icons. And here we have the other things like the quick setting tile disco option and stuff like that. Quick setting tile colors are there, background alpha. Then the nav bar color also you can change to purple or something if you want to. So as you are noticing right now, the pill bar color did change to purple. So that is just amazing. And the volume panel style, you can also change it to AOSP, compact, audio, tiled, MIUI, and the stock one. Again, this is how the stock volume panel looks like. Looks very beautiful in my opinion. And of course, you can expand it just like this. It does a very, very beautiful animation in my opinion. Just notice. And then we have the tint active volume bar and stuff like that. You can of course use it if you want to, just like this. So yeah, let me go to the button settings, and here we have the nav bar gestures. This is the system navigation gestures again. And in this gesture option, we have the double tap to sleep on the status bar and lock screen as well. Then we have the swipe to take screenshot. Let me show you, this is how the screenshot works. We have the normal screenshot, delete, edit, and share option. So that is working fine. As you can see, the long screenshot, edit, share, and delete option is also there. And here we have the screen off power button toggle torch, and we have the automatically turn off torch if you want to. Then volume rockers customization is also there. This is for the volume rocker wake and stuff like that. Like the animations, scrolling cast, toast animation, simple fade kind of screen off animation is there by default, but you can change it to CRT or scale if you want to. Then the animation style, duration, etc. And here in the lock screen, we have the lock screen charging info, the charging animation, then fingerprint authentication, vibration, and stuff like that. And the hide lock icon is there, and the always on display, you can even schedule it if you want to. Then the clock style you can change from here, and these are the lock screen clock styles that you can like use. There is the analog cue style and stuff like that. Then clock font size and stuff you can change. Then owner info and stuff like that you can change. You can even change the lock clock alignment to like however you want to. Even the owner info, weather, everything you can change from here. Then we have the lock screen colors option, and you can change this date, clock, etc. colors from here. Then we have the show on lock screen option for the weather over here. So yeah, as you are noticing, this is how it will appear whenever you are customizing it. So this looks very, very beautiful in my opinion. This will appear even on the always on display, just like this. To the bottom, we have the music visualizer, then the media art and the battery bar. And there is surprisingly this fingerprint icons. It will appear for devices like K20 Pro, I guess. As you can see, the CherishOS kind of icon. But yeah, this like does not work for this particular device. The Redmi Note 10 Pro simply does not have the on-screen fingerprint sensors. And here we have the other things like the power menu, and there is the power menu animations. You can change it to however you want to. I have been using it with a slide. So right now, as you can see, this is how it will appear. And as I have this advanced reboot enabled, so right now if I tap on advanced, there is a directly rebooting option to recovery or fast boot or just a system UI, all those options that you get. Of course, you have the Google Smart Home controls too, and the visible power menu on lock screen is also there. In the notification, we have the vibrate on connect, call waiting, etc. and the heads up, and we have the heads up place annoying option, and we have the notification light and stuff. Blink flashlight for incoming call option is there. Then the edge lighting option over here is there, but I did not see the edge lighting actually working. Here we have the vibrate for notification option, but the edge lighting should be working fine if you set up correctly, but I'm not really sure why it doesn't work for me. And we have the MISC settings. Here we have the dashboard conditions and stuff like that. Gaming mode is there. Wake up on charge you can enable or disable. Then the screenshot kind of settings are there. Then the volume steps, smart pixels is also there. And you can of course use this framework values if you want to customize the rounded corners or stuff like that. And in the about, you can donate to the developers over here, I guess, and you can see their like names from here. Huge thanks to the developers for this CherishOS, which has huge amount of customizations. Now in the battery settings, this is how it looks like. If you tap here, you see the full battery usage, of course. And if you scroll down, we have the battery saver, adaptive battery, smart charging, smart cutoff, and we have the screen on time. Then we have the last full charge options, and the battery temperature shows up over here. There is no charging cycle showing up option over here, and there is no like thermal profiles. I can't simply find it over here for some reason. In the display settings, this is how it looks like. We have the brightness level and the dark theme option, and the night light, live display, everything is there. Then we have the rotation settings, styles and wallpapers are there. And in the styles and wallpapers, when we find this wallpaper style and grid option, the fonts, yes, you can change the fonts to huge amount of customizations. As you can see, plethora of options are there for the like whole UI fonts. It just goes through and it just scrolls through. As you can see, plethora of fonts are there and it just doesn't end. And then we have the font size, display size, DPI customization. In the lock screen, we have the always show time and info, that is for the always on display, of course. Then we have the display cutout option again, but here I'm suggesting you to keep it on the device default, because if you switch to the notch bar killer, everything will just appear over the front camera and stuff. That will look weird. So yeah, the device default here I have been using. And then there is the full screen apps. You can force particular apps to full screen if you want to. Then the clock style you can change from here. So these are the lock screen clock styles that you get, and I have been using it with the fluid option, but as you are noticing, there are plethora of clocks like this. So if I am using it, as you can see, this is how the lock screen clock looks like right now. Looks very beautiful in my opinion. Let me go back. We have the signal changing option. This is for the like this signal bar over here. You can change it to these many options. Then even the Wi-Fi kind of icons you can change to Expedia or something if you want to. Then also we have the icon shapes changing option. Then we have the status bar icons changing option. Then we have the status bar height. You can have it on the status bar large or something if you want to use it like that. Let me go back. We have the sound settings here. We have the media call, etc. volume kind of customization. Then we have phone ringtone, of course, and we have the touch vibration, dial pad tone, screen locking sound, charging vibration, etc. Then if you scroll down, we have this pause media, enable expand button in volume panel, and the resume audio option is there. And even we have the clear speaker option, but sadly there is no Me Audio Direct option present over here. In the security settings, we have this pin lock over here, and if you go into the settings, we have the quick unlock and stuff like that. Power button instantly locks. I have showed you the fingerprint scanner speed already. So let me quickly set up the face unlock right now. Let's just click next. And so right now, let's just double tap anywhere in the home screen, and from the always on display, let's just double tap over here. Okay, so the double tap, I'm noticing it's just not working for some reason. In the display settings, as you can see, I do have the double tap to wake enabled, but still it's not working. Let me just show you one more time. So here I just double tap to sleep and double tap to wake. Again, the double tap to wake is simply not working. I'm just tapping on the lock button, as you can see, and I'm tapping on the lock button with the finger that I do not have registered, so that it doesn't unlock with that. As you can see, it shows not recognized. So right now, the face unlock, yes, the face unlock is working, but the double tap to wake for some reason here is not working as of right now. I think it was working earlier, but not really sure why it stopped working. Also, we have the app lock feature. So here you can lock any particular app just from right here. And as you are noticing, you can lock just like this. And you can also hide their notification just by tapping on these buttons. And there is a lock app after instantly 15 seconds or the screen off option. And on this magnifier kind of icon, if you tap on it and if you search for any app, you can just find it and lock it just from here. So no issues with the app lock, but let me tell you, with the app lock, there is still a problem that like right now, if you open it just like this, as you can see, it shows you the pin option, then the fingerprint option, then use the face option. So all those options are there. Yes, you can tap the fingerprint scanner and that will unlock the app. But if you tap on the notifications which appear on the like notification panel, if you tap on the lock tabs notification, it will just straight up open that particular app. It won't show you that particular app is locked or something. So that is a bug and that is still there. So right now I have opened a couple of apps over here. So let me just first open Chrome, and as you can see, it is still in memory. And here, as you are noticing in this test UFO website, it is definitely pushing up to 120 FPS. So yes, this is working totally fine. No issues whatsoever with getting 120 FPS in the test UFO website. So the performance, you can imagine, is great. This Facebook app still in memory. Twitter, I think yes, still in memory. Play Store, as you are noticing, still in memory. YouTube, yes, it is still in memory, but it just loads whenever you're going into your own channel. So yeah, that's how it is. Instagram, as you can see, still in memory. And the Google Home, yes, still in memory. So no issues whatsoever with the memory management, and everything is buttery smooth over here, and switching between apps is not a problem here. And you can see the benchmarks from the screen, the end-to-end Geekbench scores over here on your screen. So the performance over here while daily driving, I did not find any issues at all. Talking about the IR bluster present on the device, yes, the IR bluster is not a problem here. As you can see, it is working fine with this LED RGB remote app I'm trying. That did work fine, no issues whatsoever with the IR bluster on the device. Talking about SafetyNet, yes, it does pass SafetyNet out of the box, and also with Magisk Hide, the SafetyNet is working fine, not a problem. Banking apps is not a problem on this particular ROM. So yeah, you can definitely use banking apps even with Magisk Hide on this ROM, or without it, I guess. And let me tell you, if you are not aware that how to use Magisk Hide or stuff like that, you can watch that ANX camera flashing guide video. I have showed how to get the SafetyNet working in that video. Now let's talk about the DRM info. As you can see, it has the security level as L1 and it did not become L3 or something. So streaming on Netflix or Amazon Prime is not a problem on this particular ROM in 1080p. Now let's talk about Google Assistant. Okay Google. As you can see, Google Assistant does work super fine with the voice trigger. Let me show you one more time. Hey Google. As you can see again, it does give you a haptic feedback, then brings up the Google Assistant window. So this is great that the Google Assistant is working with the voice trigger without any issues. Overall, if you ask me, the CherishOS is still one of the best ROMs for the Redmi Note 10 Pro or even the Pro Max. But yes, on the Redmi Note 10 Pro, you will find those camera bugs if you are using ANX camera, but you can definitely use the Google Camera Go or any other Google camera that will be working totally fine. No issues whatsoever with that. And that top kind of notch area is a little weird. I hope the developers include a feature where like it has a little bit of like circular kind of black border on the camera. That will help maybe. So that's what I feel about this like camera kind of situation over here. On the Redmi Note 10 Pro, it is working fine. This is just weird that why the double tap to wake is not working. I'm not really sure, but yes, that's how it is. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. This is Chito from KD and signing off for today, and I'll be catching you guys in the next one. Bye bye now.